A pricing record has just been broken by this Les Paul, held here by Linda. Welcome back, Troglodytes, to your daily dose of guitar information, the Trogly's Guitar Show. So, a couple of weeks ago on Reverb, a guitar got listed, and I saved it in my watch list because I thought, oh, that's a really cool story. The price, I'm a little bit iffy on, but I do want to cover it in the future. But then Reverb's official Instagram account shared it and got the guitar sold. So I think now's a good time to talk about it. This is a 1953 gold top that has been extensively modified and used by its original owner for this entire time. She is the one that's selling it. Her name is Linda Lee, and she played in a band called the Swingers. So she used this 53 gold top up until very recently, and she's got a whole storied back past on this one. So let's kind of dig into that as we take a look at some of these photos. So Linda bought this brand new in 1953 in February in Hot Springs, Arkansas at Biles Music Company. She never sold it or lent it out or lost it, got it back. She's the only owner that's ever played this instrument, and it bears the serial number 31581, which makes it a 1953. And the story of why she picked this particular guitar out is because she was a big fan of Les Paul. You know, this guy, and Mary Ford. She loved their partnership and how they made music together, so she really wanted his new signature model that just came out. So she was saving and saving, but luckily, her stepfather was in the horse racing business, and his horse just won big one day. So he said, here you go, here's your money, go get your guitar. So she has fond memories of just racing to that music store to go buy this thing brand new. And ever since then, it kind of became her work dog. So the Bigsby tremolo was added in place of the original stop bar tailpiece. Because originally 52s and 53s, they look like this. They have this trapeze tailpiece that wraps around under it. You can't really get good palm muting technique on these style of instruments. Sometimes the neck angle's a bit wonky on these, I've heard, but I've personally never had one. But this is what a 52 would have originally looked like. But she converted it to this. So that kind of explains why this ABR1 style bridge has been sunk into the top. I'm looking at nylon saddles, so that makes me think that she might have did that in the late 60s, or who knows, maybe that's just been replaced over the years. Next up in her story, she says around that same time she added the humbucking pickups P90s in the early 60s. That I'm a little bit confused on because they also have a video where she kind of tells some of her tale. You're welcome to check that out. It's an unlisted video, so I don't know if they really want me to share it, but hey, if you can find this old Reverb listing, you can click on it. But that makes me think these P90 pickups are not original. Maybe they were specially wound for her to be like P100s or a stacked P90 that bucks out the hum. I mean, she was a gigging guitarist. We haven't even seen the half of it yet, but it's obvious that she was okay with modifying this guitar to be a better performer. Continuing on her story, it still has the original neck on it, but there was a slight crack near the nut at one point in time, and she claims because she left it tuned to standard tuning all these years, and then she eventually had to get that professionally repaired. She claims it has never been dropped or broken. Now to me, that just looks like the guitar got dinged up against something and it just has the typical kind of smiley face crack that Gibsons get. I highly doubt that happened just because it was left to standard tuning. Maybe when she was taking a break, one of her band members accidentally dropped it in the case, or when it was getting moved around, or maybe her kids, if she had any, accidentally knocked it over or something, but I have a hard time believing that happened just because she left it in standard tuning all these years. But regardless of how it happened, it's there, it's a headstock repair. The next thing is the gold top was professionally refinished. And that's when we need to talk about all this other stuff. Why was it refinished? I would guess it's probably because the gold paint was kind of flaking off. She didn't like that vibe. And because there's so many modifications on here that she had to do something to cover up what happened. So first things first, the big golden goose sticking out in the room. We have 2 additional toggle switches added onto this guitar right here in the strumming area. Now I'm sure a lot of modern day guys would be like, why would you put buttons there? But she was doing like swing music. I would guess it's more like finger picking style rather than big strums. And technically you can still pick over the neck pickup or over the bridge pickup, but she liked having these knobs right here because she could just take her thumb and activate them if she needed to. Watching through their video, she used to perform with these really high heels, and it was hard for her to stomp on her pedals because she would have a switch for reverb and vibrato on her amp. I would assume it's fair to assume it was something similar to this, for the vibrato and the reverb that she needed within her tones. But playing those long 4-hour gigs and those really big spiky heels to play with her band's vibe, naturally it would be easier to flip a switch. So here's what she had done to this guitar. Because if you thought a top refin and putting like an ABR1 style bridge in here and a Bigsby was crazy to do to a Les Paul, Lester Pulfus would have definitely approved of this modification. You see that? That is a backplate. And no, that is not there to be like a Gretsch guitar to fight against buckle rash and make it more comfortable to play. No, this was put on the back of the guitar to hide this. Oh man, you gotta love her inventiveness. She bought this and made it her own. So we've got the regular route right here, right? But then chiseled away is a little cavity right in here to do those other toggle switches. And this is what those look like on the back. And at some point in time around the toggle switch, she must have maybe had something in here as well, because there's another enlarged cavity right here. But since these routes really aren't, circular and nice, easy to put another cover over top of, she just decided to have this entire plate screwed onto the back to hide all this ugliness back here. And then on the side of the guitar, it appears to have been routed out a little bit as well. It seems she could take her pedals and run them through the guitar, which I would assume it comes in from right here and then goes through here, and then comes up here with a wire. Then it follows that path, and then somehow got connected to those switches. I'm not sure if she had a special setup that was soldered onto this guitar, then that got disconnected so it could be put into storage. I'm not sure on that. But that's how that setup worked, and it looks like she really reinforced that output jack. No flimsy plastic on this one. That's a big mamma jamma side plate. So obviously when you do stuff like this, you have to refinish the back of the guitar, so she probably just thought, might as well do the front too. But I do like the backplate she put on here. It reminds me of the Les Paul Elegant Gold Flow, but it looks like we have some glue or something along the edge of the instrument right here. But you will notice that the neck was left alone as far as the finish goes, so that appears to still be the original finish. And that's probably why she also specified it's the original neck, because there's so much other stuff that's gone on here. It would be fair to assume that maybe something happened to the neck at one point in time. But besides a lot of honest play wear, besides the headstock crack, everything's looking good here. Just got some wear on the back of the headstock, still got that serial number we were talking about earlier. That even looks like still the original tuners in pretty darn good shape. Generally, those things disintegrate, but it's not completely spared from bends. But this was a really cool thing. The fact that she still had the blue sparkle guitar strap that she used to use on the stage. That's really cool to me. She also still has the original case, but apparently she painted the outside of it black. So there we go. This thing sat on Reverb for a little over a week, but then as we were talking earlier, Reverb posted it and it sold within an hour. And I've got to say, I was really, really surprised. Because let's talk level-headed here. What is a 1953 Gibson Les Paul worth? Generally, you're looking between like $12,000 to $18,000. A really, really clean early one might fetch $25,000. The first few years of Les Pauls really are not worth all that much. And generally, refins knock off between 30 to 50% of the value of the guitar. Further modifications, another 10 to 20. If we don't have the original pickups in here, that's even worse. This has a headstock repair, which is another 30 to 50% off. Now, obviously, once so much has gone wrong with it, we can't just keep marking it down to like 90% or something. But I think this is a solid 50% devaluation. So a good conservative estimate for any other guitar that's been modified like this, probably somewhere between maybe $7,000 to $10,000. And that's just because somebody would want to buy it to convert it to burst specs, probably retop it. There's guys out there that do that. They just want the old wood that's on the guitar. But with the headstock repair, it makes it hard to find a guy to even want to even do that. So I would even consider that a conservative estimate. So when I read that this thing sold because Reverb posted it, I was really curious. How close did she get to that? Because apparently it was Linda who actually listed this for sale on Reverb. It's her very first sale here, but Reverb does not tell you how much things sell for. However, if it gets posted within their price guide, you can find out how much it sold for. I was flabbergasted. Somebody paid asking price. Even though she was open to offers, somebody just did the entire full purchase price. This guitar might only be worth $7,000, But to somebody, that story was worth $30,000. And I say congratulations. I am so happy she got her full asking price. I'm sure she or her family can use that money to do something great with. Because, I mean, look at all these other ones. A very good condition one for $23,000. Even that $27,000 sale is kind of unusual. Generally, you're between that $15,000 to $20,000 range that you can see here. I mean, this is going back years, all the way to 2017. And these are just Reverb documented sales. I mean, here's something probably similar to what we just saw sell condition-wise. I mean, that was 6.5. I mean, this broke a record for 5253 Les Pauls here. $35,000. And if you thought her $35,000 price tag was crazy, I'm sure most people probably thought that as well. But if you look at all the other asking prices of similar aged ones, I mean, there's a 25, but there's other ones at 44, there's one at 40, there's another one at 36. So I'm glad she asked high and got it. But here's where things get interesting. In her unlisted video, the Gibbs family updated it and said the guitar sold on Reverb. Follow Sean Hopper's YouTube channel because he's going to post an update soon revealing the buyer with a big thank you from Linda Lee. The fact that they are revealing the buyer makes me think Joe Bonamassa. It has to be Joe Bonamassa. He's going to be flying out to the Gibbs family to, document that for himself. Because I know Joe appreciates a good story. He's got the disposable budget to pay $25,000 more than it's probably worth to the average buyer if you had to fire sale it. And if not him, who? Who do you think bought this guitar to love and appreciate it? Was it Jim Irsay, the Colts owner who buys all the high-dollar collectible guitars? Or maybe Slash. I doubt Slash. I feel like this would be another good one for Jared James Nichols, but I mean, he's already got Dorothy. But since he plays with fingers, I could see him making use out of these toggle switches. Needless to say, I think you guys should check out this guy's YouTube channel, and one day we will find out. So, Troglodytes, I hope you enjoyed tonight's episode. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and we will catch you tomorrow on the next episode. Take care.